Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's session. My name is Isabel. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the Elevate Program Manager here at the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering. Glad so many of you have decided to join us today and are interested in learning about the Elevate Boosting Diversity in STEM program. We've had the great privilege here at the Academy to have language training with traditional owners, but with ASL interpreters with us today, I'm going to do it in English. So I'd like to acknowledge the custodianship of the lands and waters on which our staff work and the many lands and waters across Australia on which our fellows work, live, and apply science, technology, and engineering. We acknowledge the traditional owners and pay respects to their elders, their traditional knowledge, and the deep history of innovation it embodies. Okay, joining us today, I have Tamara, who is the Elevate Program Delivery Lead. And we also have joining us today Priscilla and Kiki, who will be interpreting today's session. Thanks everybody for joining us and making this, helping the session be more accessible. To find the captions for today's session, please head to the controls toolbar and click the show captions icon. And if you don't see it, click the more, and then you should be able to see show captions. The structure of today's session will be a short overview of the program aims, the support the Elevate program provides, and the logistics of the application process, followed by a Q&A. During the Q&A, we will answer as many questions as possible. Please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A throughout the webinar. We will not be answering any questions that come through in the chat, only in the Q&A function. And the chat can be used for links or comments, but not questions specifically. We are also recording today's session, and it will be available on ATSI's YouTube channel at a later date. I will now jump into today's session. Okay. ATSI is a learned academy of independent experts helping Australians understand and use technology to solve complex problems. ATSI brings together more than 950 fellows, Australia's leading experts in applied science, technology, and engineering, to contribute robust and practical thinking to Australia's big debates through advocacy and the government. So ATSI has 4 strategic goals, which you can see on the screen. And ATSI's goal of championing quality, inclusive STEM education and enhancing Australia's skilled workforce is the strategic goal that the Elevate program is most aligned with. ATSI operates across industry, academia, education, and government, which enables us to take a collaborative approach to co-designing this program in consultation with the STEM sector. Elevate is funded by the Department of Science, Industry and Resources through the Australian Government's Boosting the Next Generation of Women in STEM Fund, with additional funding available through the Department of Defence, Snowy Hydro Limited, Commonwealth Bank, Air Trunk, and further philanthropic donations. And we're grateful to all our partners for their support of this program. Our strategic goals link directly with the policy priorities, and these are determined collectively by our fellowship. The policy priority areas, as you can see on the screen here, include climate change mitigation and adaptation, enhancing research collaboration, translation and commercialization, and inspiring and educating young people in STEM. And the Elevate program aligns strongly with ATSI's priority of inspiring and educating young people in STEM. ATSI has a strong focus on diversity and inclusion. We have a gender equity focus, and we have sorry, next slide. Yep, thank you. We have developed the Diversity and Inclusion Toolkit for genuine diversity and inclusion, which focuses small, medium enterprises to embed diversity and inclusion in their key activities of recruitment, retention, and promotion. Okay, that's a bit about ATSI. Now we're going to jump into the program. So, Elevate's aims and objectives. Elevate aims to address inequities in STEM through comprehensive scholarships, enabling more diverse women and non-binary people to access tertiary STEM education, professional skills development, and STEM leadership opportunities with industry and academia. Elevate has been designed around 4 strategic goals. These you can see here, which are Elevate scholars lead, influence, and make change. People from historically underrepresented groups in STEM engage with STEM career pathways. Elevate scholars have strong networks within the STEM ecosystem and demonstrate best practice in long-term STEM equity program delivery. Okay, there have been some changes to the program for the 2027 round of applications. For 2027, postgraduate and leadership scholarships will not be available. This applies to anybody wishing to commence degrees, including a PhD, a Master of Philosophy, Masters by Research, Masters by Coursework, or degrees to improve business acumen. The priority discipline for undergraduate degrees have also been reviewed. This will be discussed further later on in this session with a bit more detail as to what is and isn't eligible. But you can see here the list of priority disciplines. The biggest change is that in the science discipline, priority will be given to physical sciences. So chemistry, physics, space science, environmental science, including water science, etc. So if you have any questions throughout the session, including about this, please pop them into the Q&A and we will get to them at the end of the session. Okay. Now the program, we provide full wraparound supports. So this includes a scholarship, so a financial component, to assist scholars with costs that are associated with their studies. We provide skill building workshops. Scholars have access to these workshops throughout the course of the program, and that'll help them develop skills such as effective communication, project management, leadership, things like that. We also provide access to peer mentoring and networking events through ATSI ourselves and our network, Elevate's partner organizations, the Scholar Network itself. We facilitate peer mentoring to help foster networks within the Scholar cohort. We also provide wellbeing support during your studies. So all our scholars have access to 24-hour, 7 days a week wellbeing support through a service called Sonder, which offers counselling, mental health and wellbeing resources, medical help, as well as personal safety features. The Elevate program is creating a community of like-minded women and non-binary people who are in a similar position studying at university and who are there to support each other and celebrate the wins and learn from challenges together. Just the next slide. You'll be able to see here some of our scholar faces from some of our networking events, and you can see here what the scholars have to say about their experience and what they've gained from the program. Okay, I'm now going to pass to Tamara, who's going to run through some program logistics and give you some more specific eligibility details.
Good afternoon, all. It's lovely to be here. As Izzy mentioned, my name is Tamara McGregor, and my pronouns are she, her. So I'll be talking about a little bit more details about the Elevate program, dialing into a little bit more of the logistics. So for the 2027 application round, applicants are required to meet three key eligibility criteria. The first one is they need to identify as a woman or a non-binary person. While we use the term non-binary and it's regularly used to include all people who do not identify as a man or a woman, at Elevate we acknowledge that this term may not describe your own gender identity, and therefore you're welcome to nominate a different term in the Elevate application. The second key criteria is you must be enrolling as a domestic student at an Australian university. Now, this usually means you are either an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, but we understand some universities also consider students with humanitarian visas as domestic students. So we base this on what you were applying to and what your university says. International students are not eligible to apply for the Elevate program. The last key criteria is you must be planning to undertake an eligible undergraduate STEM degree commencing in 2027. So you must be commencing a new degree in 2027, and you must be planning to commence an eligible STEM undergraduate bachelor's degree. Now, STEM degrees are degrees administered by a STEM faculty, such as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Students planning to undertake degrees administered by non-STEM faculties, such as the Faculty of Art, or students who are planning to undertake a degree that qualifies you as an individual for a specific occupation, such as medicine, nursing, radiography. These are not eligible. I'll go over very soon now a bit more in detail about what is considered an eligible degree. So, undergraduate scholarships are available and offer up to $40,000 over 4 years pro rata. What is eligible? So, as mentioned, STEM bachelor's degrees, and this includes honours and also double degrees and vertical double degrees. Priority will be given to the following STEM disciplines. So, for science, priority is given to physical sciences, including chemistry and physics, space sciences, environmental science, including water science and materials science. In technology, all disciplines are eligible, with priority given to robotics, software, and development. In engineering, all disciplines are eligible, with priority given to nuclear, materials, mechanical, software, civil, mechatronics, and electrical engineering. And in mathematics, all disciplines are eligible. So I'll go a little bit more about what disciplines are maybe not eligible. So you can see in this table here a list of degrees which would be considered eligible, and also a list of degrees which would be considered not eligible. So if you're applying for an undergraduate scholarship, you need to be intending to study an eligible STEM degree, and you need to describe this in your application to proceed forward through to assessment. So degrees that are not eligible would consider non-STEM degrees such as arts, political science, finance, economics, accounting, etc. Degrees that qualify you for a specific occupation such as medicine, surgery, veterinary science, etc. Health science and clinical degrees such as dentistry, public health, psychology, radiography are also not eligible. Life science degrees such as biology, biomedical science, genetics, neuroscience, zoology are also not eligible. And also other occupational degrees such as surveying, construction management, architecture are not eligible. And please note that this is not an exhaustive list, and if you are unsure if your preferred degree you would like to study is eligible, please contact us and we can offer some advice there. And the final determination of whether a degree is eligible or not is at ATSE's discretion. So we might go to the next slide. Thank you. So with scholarship payments, scholars will receive a payment in advance of the commencement of your first semester of study. Once you've provided all your required documents, which includes your proof of enrolment and your letter of offer. This initial $5,000 payment, which you'll get before you start studying, is designed to help you with relocation and setting yourself up for study and any other initial costs that might occur as you head into university. Following this, you will receive quarterly payments, one each quarter, following a compulsory check-in, which that check-in then provides us with a part of information to help with our welfare and scholar support. Now, scholars are able to study part-time, and in this case, what would happen is your quarterly payments would be halved, but you'd receive it for double the amount of time. So the overall scholarship amount stays the same. Payments are paid out to the maximum duration of the scholarship. So the maximum is 4 years, or the maximum duration of the degree. So if you are studying a 3-year degree, we're only able to support you for those 3 years. Scholars can use payments in a way that best suits them and are not required to report back to us about what they spend it on. Payments might be used to help with cost of living, study-related resources, travel-related expenses. These are just some examples. Now, if you receive an Elevate scholarship, you are welcome to hold more than one scholarship, but it is your responsibility as an Elevate scholar to ensure that you are eligible for any other scholarship that you hold concurrently, and that the Elevate scholarship will not impact or contradict your eligibility for that second scholarship. Applicants with existing scholarships are advised to contact their university's scholarship office to understand the implications of holding another scholarship alongside the Elevate scholarship. We'll move over to a bit of application logistics. So as part of the Elevate application process, no interviews are conducted. It is only an online application process. If you are interested in applying, you can apply through the portal linked on our website. There are also options for alternative submissions. So ATSE is committed to providing inclusive and equitable access to all potential applicants. If for any reason you may be unable to submit a written response to the questions in the application form, ATSE will also accept alternative modes of submission. Applicants may prefer to create a video of either yourself or a collection of drawings. Applicants might also prefer to submit their application verbally through an interview with someone in our team. Applicants still must convey responses to the questions asked in the application, as assessors are still required to score you your application's set of 3 selection criteria. So if you use an alternative mode of submission, you still need to answer the questions that are in the application form. If you wish to discuss alternative modes of submission, you can contact the Elevate team by email or phone, and we can figure a way to help you apply for the program. Now, key deadlines. Applicants must apply by 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, the 1st of September, 2026. So this is Canberra, Melbourne, Sydney time. We recommend you start your application early to allow you time to complete it ahead of this deadline. And if you do want to tick-tack on it slowly as the application deadline heads closer, you're more than welcome to, as you can save your progress as you go through the application. Just waiting for our Auslan interpreters to catch up. Oh, perfect. Assessment will happen in September to October, and offers will be made during November. All our eligible applicants are going to go and proceed through the assessment process. And our assessment process is done through an expert selection committee, which is composed of representatives from industry, academia, and government with a diverse range of experiences, and for who are selected as they are inclusive leaders and support the objectives of the Elevate program. Scholarships are conditional on receiving an offer to attend university and then subsequent enrolment in that eligible course of study. And we'll just move over to the next slide. Thank you. So before you begin, we highly, highly recommend that you read the Elevate guidelines to understand the requirements of the program to help you along with your application. We also recommend you read the Applying to Elevate documents, and also there is a section on information for applicants you can find on the website when you first register in the application portal, which will also help you apply for the program. When applying for the program, you'll first need to undergo an eligibility checker where you'll answer a few questions regarding the Elevate eligibility criteria. If you pass this, you will then be invited to continue completing the application form. Once you've completed the form, you can then review the whole application before you progress and submit. On the right-hand side of most questions, there's also further information and helpful text and elaboration to guide you on what we are looking for in that question. And once again, you can save your progress as you go and come back to it if you wish at any point, as long as you get to it before the application deadlines. Fabulous. So I'll keep going. Once you are kind of tick-tacking through your application, once again, you can save at any time. Please just double check everything is correct and reflects to the best ability of the time of application. You'll be asked to give us details of the degree you hope to study and commence in 2027. If you haven't finalised the degree you expect to commence, there is a chance for you to provide a bit more detail about what you might be considering or other alternatives to what you might be thinking. The table at the bottom of the slide shows a summary of the long response questions. You can also find this with further prompts under each section on pages 6 and 7 of the Elevate program guidelines. We recommend paying close attention to the weightings and the word counts for each of the long response questions. The document Applying for Elevate contains common things successful applicants have explored in each of these questions, so you might find this useful here. All eligible applications are assessed by at least 2 assessors who will be able to see your degree details and answer the long response and your answers to the long response questions. Our selection panel will then decide and do the final shortlisting, considering demographics, degree, discipline, and the scores of the assessors. All right, next slide, please. So we'll shortly head into our Q&A, but before we head to our Q&A, I'll go over some frequently asked questions. So here we have some common questions that have been asked through the past few years of the Elevate program. So is there an ATAR requirement for the program? No, there is no ATAR or grade requirement to apply for the Elevate program. While you are welcome to share your academic achievements, awards, and average scores in your long response questions, selection is not based on academic merit, but how you respond to the long response questions. Am I able to study part-time? Yes, we certainly support scholars who wish to study part-time. In this case, your quarterly payments would be paid at half the regular rate for double length of time. Your overall scholarship amount stays the same. Am I eligible if I'm starting my degree in semester 2 this year? No, you must be commencing study in 2027 to be eligible for the program. However, if you are starting in semester 2, 2027, then you are welcome and eligible to apply. As long as you start and commence your degree in 2027, you would be eligible for the program. And I've got another one here that's not on the slide is, do I need a letter of offer to apply? No, you don't need a letter of offer to apply for the program. You will find that there is space for it on the portal, and you're welcome to submit it as part of your application. But please note, if you are successful in receiving a scholarship, it is conditional on your acceptance and enrollment into an eligible course. All right, we will now move over to the Q&A section. So what we'll do is we'll bring up all the Izzy back into the room, and we'll answer some of the wonderful questions that you guys have been submitting. And perhaps we stop slide sharing to make it a little bit easier for everyone to see both myself and Izzy. So we've got one here regarding specializations in science and engineering. So if only certain disciplines in science, technology, and engineering are prioritized, does this require that students must have already chosen their specialization before they commence at university? How are we meant to indicate this? Great question. So we understand, particularly with engineering, you can sometimes enroll in a Bachelor of Engineering and choose your specialization later. Provided you're enrolling in an eligible degree, such as a Bachelor of Science, a Bachelor of Engineering, you'd still be welcome, and we encourage you to apply, and then you can choose your specialization later. You may wish to convey areas in which you're interested in studying in your application. You might say that I'm interested in looking at physics or chemistry or environmental science, and these are just some things you were considering. But you're still welcome to apply if you haven't fully chosen what you wanted to do. Just once again, this scholarship is conditional on being enrolled in an eligible STEM degree. So we would just check that paperwork at the time of onboarding. We've also got a few questions regarding double degrees, which is great. So firstly, double degrees are 100% eligible, provided that there is at least one of the degrees is in an eligible STEM degree. So a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Arts would be eligible, or a Bachelor of Engineering and a Bachelor of Law would be eligible, as there is a primary discipline being supported in the STEM area. Have another look here. I might pass this over to Izzy. Would any international opportunities like exchange or international conferences affect this scholarship?
Short answer, no. If a scholar is successful and during their studies they would like to undertake an exchange program, we would support this as long as the university deems them still enrolled. If for whatever reason the university deems exchange where you're not enrolled, we would allow for a period of deferment. We do allow for periods of suspension of the scholarship due to whatever reason. So yes, we would support exchange. There's a few other questions in here. There was a question about whether, oh, sorry, Tamara answered about undergrad double degrees. Okay, now
There's a couple. Oh, you go.
sorry. There was a question about whether a parent would be income tested or tax related questions. We don't, and ATSI does not provide tax advice at all. We do advise that you get independent financial advice on your end, but means testing or financial testing is not part of the application process. There's also a few questions regarding how many scholarships are on offer this year. We will award more than 500 scholarships over the life of the program. However, we don't disclose the number of scholarships available each year. The Elevate program is incredibly competitive, and in previous years, we've seen upwards of 1,000 applications. And last year we saw a success rate of between 10 and 20%. So just bear that in mind when applying. Please don't let that stop you from applying. We would encourage anybody that meets all three eligibility criteria to apply. You never know. So we would always recommend that you do apply if you meet those criteria. You want to jump in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm also noticing a few others about, I guess, like references or like service time in community and leadership roles. So none of this is required as part of the application, but you are welcome to include it if you feel it resonates with you and what the question is asking. We look at it in terms of achievement relevant to opportunity. So you're welcome to talk about leadership or community service you've done, or talk about a teacher that's influenced you or providing a quote for them. But you do not need an official teacher reference or anything like that. You may wish to head to our website and have a look at our Applying for Elevate document, which provides some tips on what has been successful in the past. This might help you shape the story in which you want to bring to the application.
There's a couple of questions in here too about what makes a good application. What would, be seen favorably in the assessment. Doing a double degree, as in two eligible degrees, so say a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Engineering, they won't give you any advantage in the application process if that's what you're worried about. In terms of what makes a good application stand out, we just want you to be yourselves. We want you to share your personal story, whatever you're comfortable with sharing. Assessors want to see your passion for STEM. Try your best to answer the question and give as much detail as possible within the word limit. Use the word limit to your advantage. Try and provide as much detail as possible. There is a document on our website with some tips and tricks about what successful applications last year had in common. So do read that also. There's also a couple of other questions in here about what happens if you don't have, say, your year 12 certificate yet, or you don't have your year 12 final exam marks. You don't have your ATAR. You don't have a university offer. None of this will impact your application. The scholarship isn't an academic scholarship. It's based on achievement relative to opportunity. If you haven't finished, we understand it's August. They're due in September. We realize lots of you that are finishing school this year won't have finished yet. That is totally understandable. All scholarship offers are conditional on you getting that university offer. We realize you might not have decided on your university yet. You might apply for a couple of unis or a couple of different degrees. We just ask as part of your application, you provide your number one university selection. If this changes, then you just let us know. So that's yeah.
I'd like to do a couple more
Yeah,
regarding just like
go
double
for it.
degrees and things like that. So there's a question regarding like a vertical double degree. So such as a Bachelor of Engineering leading into a master's, that would be eligible. We support double degrees, so a bachelor and a bachelor, and also vertical double, so a bachelor leading into a master's degree. We would be able to support you for either the maximum duration of the scholarship, so 4 years, or the maximum amount of time it takes you to complete the undergraduate part of that. So either 3 or 4 year financial support there, as well as our other things such as networking and well-being, etc.
There's also quite a few questions about majors, university majors, subject majors. So many people enter a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Engineering not knowing what they're going to major in. That is completely fine. We do not expect you to declare a major before you even start. This happens over time. As long as you're enrolled, the degree needs to be eligible. That is the priority. So if you're doing a Bachelor of Science, that it makes you eligible. If you're doing a Bachelor of Engineering, that makes you eligible. Please consult the guidelines for any further, recommendations. And if you have any questions about your specific degree, please email us at the applications email. We will throw that in the chat just so that you have access to it. Please contact the team and we can answer your specific situation.
There's one in here about whether we have to work at ATSE after. Certainly not. You're welcome to pursue the career path and journey that you want to take as part of this Elevate Scholarship. There's no responsibility working at ATSE unless that's something you're super passionate about.
There's another question in here too about if there was priority for certain diversity criteria. So say if somebody identifies as they're from a regional, rural, or remote area, we do prioritize applications from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander applicants. But beyond that, all diversity criteria are deemed equal, and whether you choose to identify with them or not is up to you. It will not change the outcome of your application. Assessors, when they assess your applications, do not get your diversity criteria. Applications are de-identified. We use the diversity criteria when we are awarding scholarships. It's part of that process, but the assessors themselves don't see it. It's not scored at all.
There's just another one here about attachments and things like that. Once again, going back to uploading achievements or testimonials and things like that, that is not required as a part of the Elevate application. There's only one attachment spot, and that is for your letter of offer if you happen to have one at the time of applying. What we ask for you to do is to put all the information you want to share in that personal story and those written responses. If there is really a bit of information you want us to know because it's required to make your Elevate scholarship more accessible, whatever, you are welcome to send it to the team. However, that won't be shared with the assessors that will be looking at your application. I'll also jump on a little bit as well to some of the ones Izzy was talking about with kind of changing majors and things like that. Totally fine if you do want to do that. And if you find during your time that you're in the Elevate scholarship that you change into a major or a degree that is no longer eligible, if you change into a degree that is no longer eligible, that is fine. You are welcome to withdraw from the degree at any time. We'll be sad to see you go. But if you decide that science is not your passion, that's perfectly fine. However, if you want to stay with us for the whole time, we'd be absolutely love to have you and support you along that STEM career journey.
There was also a question about alternative forms of application. We do allow for alternative forms of application. So if you wanted to submit a video instead of the written application, due to accessibility requirements, we would deal with these on a case-by-case basis. Please contact the team. You are not required to complete the written form as well as an alternative. You would complete one or the other. But if that is a requirement for you or you need this for accessibility reasons, please reach out to the team and we can navigate that one together. There's also a question about what kind of networking or non-financial opportunities come with the scholarship. As we've covered, we obviously provide wraparound supports. So this includes professional development, skill building workshops, networking opportunities, either mostly online, but also in person, depending on the location of the scholar. Because we have we have scholars in every state and territory across 36 universities. So getting everybody together is difficult, but we try our best to get groups of scholars together. We also provide 24/7 wellbeing and psychosocial support through a platform called Sonder. So there's a whole bunch of other opportunities beyond the financial scholarship. What else? Sorry. So the scholarship is directly, so there's a question here about if you're applying to multiple unis and you don't know which one, does the scholarship go between universities? The scholarship is paid directly to you. We do not have a relationship with the university itself. The scholarship is between us as ATSE and you, the scholarship recipient. If you wanted to transfer universities during your study, that is fine, as long as it is an eligible Australian university.
There's a
Who are the
question.
people assessing our application? Sorry, Tamara.
Oh, no, you go, Izzy.
Who are the people assessing our application? It's a good question. They are STEM professionals. We're talking fellows of the academy. We're talking people that work in the sector, industry, academia, government employees, people that are in the STEM sector and have relevant STEM experience. They are the people assessing our applications. Again, they are de-identified. They do not have any personal information on the application when they get to assessment. They only get the answers to the questions that are the weighted answers. That's all they get. Tamara.
There was a question regarding how much is the scholarship for? I'm assuming in terms of financial support. So as mentioned, a maximum of 40,000 over 4 years pro rata for either the maximum amount of the scholarship or for whatever the length of your degree is, which either is less. In terms of that, as also mentioned, you also get access to things like wellbeing support through Sonder, amazing network of Elevate scholars, professional development opportunities, networking. So you get the financial support, but also real community and other opportunities to grow professionally. There's also a question about how many scholarships there are for offer. So through the lifetime of the Elevate program, Elevate will offer over 500 scholarships throughout its lifetime. We cannot tell you the exact number for this year, but you can know the overall that over the lifetime of the program, there will be 500 or more scholarships awarded to wonderful, amazing people. And I'll keep going on the money. So what would be the minimum amount of money you would get for the scholarship is another question. So it would be whatever the minimum length of a bachelor degree could be. So standard, if it was a 3-year degree, it would be $30,000 over 3 years. If it was a 4-year degree, it would be $40,000 over 4 years. If you perhaps did a bachelor's somewhere else and have credits transferring and you finish your degree in less than 3 years, you would only get whatever the pro rata amount is. But general rule of thumb, it's 30,000 for 3 years and 40,000 for 4 years.
There's a question regarding alternative pathways. So if you don't get, so say you don't get an offer for the degree you want, but you might do an associate, but you've been offered an associate degree to then enter into the bachelor's you're looking for, you are more than welcome to do that. We would support alternative pathways, associate degrees, etc. You do need to be enrolled at a university, at an Australian university, though. So graduate certificates heading into undergrads, associate degrees, transferring into a bachelor's, totally fine. There is a question also about like can we see an application? The short answer is no. The reason we say that is there are, but people share their personal stories. Yes, we do recommend that you don't share personal data like names, things like that, any identifying data, but people share personal stories, and we won't disclose this. We want everybody to have their privacy, including the person that's asked this question. There is a document on the website that has common factors of those applications that were successful last year. We do recommend checking that. Are there requirements or responsibilities needed during the scholarship? There are a few things you do need to do if you are awarded a scholarship. These are included in the program guidelines. Please check the website. They include, staying enrolled at the university, providing a proof of enrollment annually, doing a quarterly check-in, a few things like that. But they are listed in the program guidelines, so please check this document. Yes, you're allowed to study online, and yes, you can study part-time. Absolutely, no problem at all. Anything else you'd like to jump in there, Tamara?
Yeah, so there's a question about are there any requirements and responsibilities for needed for during the scholarship?
I just answered that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're right.
I was in the process of getting to it.
No, totally fine. We do not consider household income as part of the question, there's a question here about household income that we don't means test anybody.
There's a question about whether a Bachelor of Science is eligible, but if you decide to choose a kind of non-eligible priority area or choose a degree elsewhere. So Bachelor of Science is 100% eligible. As mentioned before, there are priority areas that our assessors will be looking for in applications. So they will be looking for areas in science regarding your environmental science, space science, materials science, chemistry, physics, etc. So that will be part of it. But a Bachelor of Science is eligible.
And there's a question here about is there an age limit for applicants? Not at all. We have many scholars that range in age. We have no issue with that. You do not have to be a certain age. You need to be able to enroll at an Australian university. That is it. If you meet those three criteria, that's all that matters. We have a huge range, and it's a really diverse cohort that we're happy for you all to be a part of, regardless of age. Okay, I think we've answered all the questions at this stage. 50 plus questions. Now, if we didn't get to your question today, if you weren't comfortable asking, if you have a very specific circumstance you'd like to give to us, you'd like to share with us, please send any emails to our applications email, which I'll just share in the chat right now. Um, Apologies, I will just send this to. Sorry, the email is applications@atsi.org.au. This is also in the Elevate guidelines and on the website. We do recommend you use that if you do have any specific questions. You can call the team at any point. We are dealing with an increased number of inquiries. We will get to your inquiry in 2 to 3 days. But this is it. This recording will be shared on the ATSI website for anybody that didn't get a chance to attend today, or if you wanted to go back and refer to it. We'll send the recording out accordingly in the coming days. I think that's it. Please check the website. Please check the Elevate portal if you'd like to. In the application, there are links. Check the website for the FAQ section. We're looking forward to receiving all your applications. I'd really like to thank the interpreters today for their time, for making this an accessible session. But that is it from us. Enjoy your afternoon, and we hope to see your application soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.